One of the most exciting scientific findings of the past half century has been the discovery of widespread trophic cascades. A trophic cascade is an ecological process which starts at the top of the food chain and tumbles all the way down to the bottom. And the classic example is what happened in the Yellowstone National Park in the United States when wolves were reintroduced in 1995. Now, we all know that wolves kill various species of animals, but perhaps we're slightly less aware that they give life to many others. Before the wolves turned up, they'd been absent for 70 years, that the numbers of deer, because there was nothing to hunt them, had built up in the Yellowstone Park, and despite efforts by humans to control them, they'd managed to reduce much of the vegetation there to almost nothing. They'd just grazed it away. But as soon as the wolves arrived, even though they were few in number, they started to have the most remarkable effects. First, of course, they killed some of the deer, but that wasn't the major thing. Much more significantly, they radically changed the behavior of the deer. The deer started avoiding certain parts of the park, the places where they could be trapped most easily, particularly the valleys and the gorges. And immediately those places started to regenerate. In some areas, the height of the trees quintupled in just 6 years. Bare valley sides quickly became forests of aspen and willow and cottonwood. And as soon as that happened, the birds started moving in. The number of songbirds and migratory birds started to increase greatly. The number of beavers started to increase because beavers like to eat the trees. And beavers, like wolves, are ecosystem engineers. They create niches for other species. And the dams they built in the rivers provided habitats for otters and muskrats and ducks and fish and reptiles and amphibians. The wolves killed coyotes, and as a result of that, the number of rabbits and mice began to rise, which meant more hawks, more weasels, more foxes, more badgers. Ravens and bald eagles came down to feed on the carrion that the wolves had left. Bears fed on it too, and their population began to rise as well, partly also because there were more berries growing on the regenerating shrubs. And the bears reinforced the impact of the wolves by killing some of the calves of the deer. But here's where it gets really interesting. The wolves changed the behavior of the rivers. They began to meander less. There was less erosion. The channels narrowed. More pools formed. More riffle sections, all of which were great for wildlife habitats. The rivers changed in response to the wolves. And the reason was that the regenerating forests stabilized the banks so that they collapsed less often, so that the rivers became more fixed in their course. Similarly, by driving the deer out of some places and the vegetation recovering on the valley sides, there was less soil erosion because the vegetation stabilized that as well. So the wolves, small in number, transformed not just the ecosystem of the Yellowstone National Park, this huge area of land, but also its physical geography.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. The sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. That's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize. One of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
When I started learning about nutrition, about which, by the way, much less is known than you might think, I learned that what mattered most about one's health was not necessarily the nutrients, good or bad, that you were consuming or staying away from, or even the calorie counts. But what predicted a healthy diet more than anything else is the fact that it was being cooked by a human being and not a corporation. Corporations cook very differently than people do. They use vast amounts of salt, fat, and sugar, much more than you would ever use in your own cooking. And the reason they do that is those are three incredibly attractive and incredibly cheap ingredients. And when they're layered properly, as in a chip or pastries and forms of junk food, they're incredibly addictive. They really press our buttons. They activate our dopamine network, our cravings. And in fact, people in the industry, they don't talk about addiction in the food industry, even though they traffic in addiction. They talk about craveability. It's the same thing. And snackability is another term they use. It's a lovely word. And then the last point about corporate cooking that's important to understand is they cook different stuff than you do at home. What they're good at, in general, they don't cook that well, but things like chips, they cook incredibly well. And here's a classic food that if you make it yourself, if you've ever made French fries, you have to wash the potatoes, you have to peel the potatoes, you have to slice the potatoes, you have to fry them in a lot of oil, you have to spatter your entire stovetop, you have to clean up, and then you have this pot of oil you have to get rid of. I mean, it's really difficult, and it's a pain. They're wonderful, but it's a pain. And if you make them yourself, you'll only eat them every 6 weeks, 2 months, because it's too much work. But when you let corporations cook for you, it's so simple and so inexpensive, and they're really good. that you will have them twice a day, as many people in America do. So you see the kinds of foods you end up with are these labor-intensive foods and desserts. These special occasion foods become everyday foods when we let industry cook for us. Eat anything you want, just cook it yourself.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Republicans in the House vote tomorrow. Will they shut down the government? What do you say? Hello, everybody. Wednesday, December 3rd. Good to see you. Welcome to the Bill Press Show. How about it? Here we are together again for the next 3 hours to take a look at all the news of the day, wherever it's happening. Here in our nation's capital, around the country, or around the globe. We're on top of it. We're there with you, not only to find out what's going on, but to talk about what it all means to you, to your family, to your community, to us as a nation. It's our town hall of the day this Wednesday, middle of the week. We are here in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, and our studio on Capitol Hill, reaching out to you all across this great land of ours on our Progressive Talk Radio, on your Progressive Talk Radio. Pardon me. Whoa. What did I have for breakfast this morning? On our
No more martinis before the show.
All right. Can we start the sounder again at the top of the show?
Sure.
All right. Very good. Here with you and your local Progressive Talk radio station. And don't forget, if you're not lucky enough to have a good Progressive Talk station in your community, download the one of the two apps, TuneIn app or iHeartRadio, where you will find us as well. And in TV land, we are there with you on Free Speech TV, nationwide, also worldwide on our video stream, TawkrTV, youtube.com/Tawker, TAWKR-TV. How about it? Team here, a little down one this morning. Lisa Murphy taking a little time off. Peter Ogburn
I'm here.
Takes any time.
I'm here.
Here he is.
You won't say that when I'm when I'm out a little bit later on, but good to see you.
You don't know what we say about you when you're gone, man.
It's good. Yeah, I don't want to know.
Right. Okay. Peter running the board today. Alicia Cruz, as always, there to take your calls. Don't forget, it's 866-55-PRESS. That's our toll-free number. Easy to remember. Put it on your speed dial and give us your comments. You can also send in your comments on Twitter at BP Show and on Facebook at facebook.com/BillPress Show. And if you're looking at us and we're looking at you, it's thanks to Cyprian Bolding, our videographer, man behind the scenes, who keeps the lights and the cameras on and keeps us looking good. And I went to I hate to tell you this, my first Christmas party last night,
already,
or my first holiday party, whatever you want to call it, for the White House Correspondents Association, the whole gang of us that meet in the briefing room every day. But last night it was not just the reporters, but Josh Earnest and Eric Schultz and all the gang from the press department of the White House who were there together. Yeah,
nice.
All enjoying a good time. And last night was also. It seems a little early, you know.
It's barely December.
It is barely December, I know. Yeah. So it was a nice party, but it wasn't didn't feel like a Christmas party.
I guess the technical rule is...
There were Christmas trees there. They were decorated, but...
I don't like seeing a Christmas tree yet. It's not out of... I mean, it's after Thanksgiving, you're in the clear, right? Like, it's okay... Technically, but I still think it's just a touch early. You're just a little too eager.
Yeah, I do too. But at the same time, last night was the lighting of the Capitol Hill Congressional Christmas tree in front of the Capitol. It's always a beautiful tree. This year's tree came from Minnesota. So who else would address the crowd at
Jesse
the lighting
Ventura?
of the tree?
No.
It could have been Amy Klobuchar, but it was the junior senator from Minnesota, Al Franken.
Today, as we light this tree, let us only be filled with positive thoughts and with the joy and love of this season.
Yeah, right. Doggone it, right.
Yeah.
People better like this tree.
People better like this.
He just doesn't sound very excited, does he?
No, he doesn't. Maybe he's with us. He hasn't quite gotten into the holiday spirit yet.
I guess that's what it is yet.
There's some positive thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Doesn't sound like the Al Franken we knew on Saturday Night Live.
No.
Right.
This is a glorious tree.
Yeah, right. And, of course, the man who now kind of rules one side of the Capitol, he had to get his word in as well.
On behalf of my family and the People's House, I wish a happy Christmas to all of you and to all a good night.
And now let's go have a drink. Okay.
That's right, yeah.
By the way, he gave a news conference yesterday. He has spent a lot of time in the tanning bed over the last... he was so orange yesterday, it was glowing.
You don't get that tan in the winter without a little help.
Oh, no. Absolutely not. It was sort of like radiating out.
People were roasting marshmallows over his glow.
I understand Santa Claus has recruited him. Rudolph is not feeling so well.
Yeah, right. Vader, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
All right. Coming up, David Jackson. Saw him at the party last night. From USA Today will be joining us. We're going to take a look at what the latest is with NASA and our space exploration with our good friend Chris Carberry. And Clinton Yates from Washington Post here as a friend of Bill a little bit later on. And Republicans are so mad. They are so mad about President Obama signing that executive order on immigration. So what are they going to do about it? But first...
This is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories making news. The New York Times has said that they are looking to eliminate about 100 positions at the paper, that they're offering people buyouts. They need to get rid of some staff. And so we got word this week that we are losing 2 of their media critics. Bill Carter and Christine Hawley are both leaving the New York Times.
No kidding.
They are taking the buyout and they are moving on. Bill Carter put out a comment on Twitter. He said, very grateful for warm comments here today, making this move with great reluctance, and I hope to stay in the game from a new perch. So we probably haven't heard the last from him, but they're taking off, leaving the Times.
Could I help them out? Maybe could I nominate my paper boy as one of the people that they fire?
Oh no! Oh no!
Damn it! The paper arrives half an hour later than it used to. We have a new paper man or paper boy, I don't know, whatever, and I'm not very happy with him. So I'll put him on the list of the 100.
Maybe he'll take the buyout. Maybe he'll take the buyout. On Twitter, one of the worst things that you have to deal with are trolls and harassment and people who try and bait you into arguments. And Twitter has notoriously been very tough to file a complaint with. If you have someone that's being abusive online, to report them and to try and get them kicked off or suspended or whatever, it's a very, very hard process. But not anymore. Yesterday, Twitter put out a company blog post that says that they will allow users to quickly select the option to block or report a user and or a specific tweet, and then file a more descriptive complaint on a follow-up email. So basically, you don't have to go through a huge, long form to file the complaint right away. It'll sort of, you'll go through the process and they walk you through it.
It's about time.
I agree. It's a really, it's not an easy procedure if you're trying to file a complaint. Bill, you just got back from Italy. You really missed out, buddy. Sabatino Truffles, a company in Italy, announced they have procured the largest white truffle ever found.
Whoa.
Yes, indeed. It is a 4.16 pound specimen. They says that it's twice the size of the last known largest white truffle ever, which was found in 2010. And they are going to put it up for auction. And a Chinese buyer has already offered $1 million for the truffle.
Wow.
You should have brought that back while you were there in Italy. You could have saved on the air, the shipping.
I wonder what part of Italy, and, I wouldn't be opposed to going back.
That's right. I mean, for a deal like that,
I'll be there. Well, I got to tell you, it is where we start this morning. It is, it's really kind of fun. It's also maddening to watch the Republicans now in the House, now that they're back, try to figure out what the hell they're going to do about funding the government, and in light of the fact that President Obama signed these executive orders, or his executive order, the one big one, on immigration reform. So they had a big meeting yesterday, the House Republicans, and we told you about it yesterday morning. It was going to happen. So they had the big meeting yesterday, and that was the big question. Okay, we know President Obama signed this order, this executive order on immigration. Now, what are we going to do about it in light of the fact that we also have to make a decision about funding the government because the government runs out of money on December 11? How are we going to keep it going? And are we just going to roll over and keep it going even though we signed this executive order? Well, it's, again, finding their way out of this is really, watching them try to do it is really kind of funny. So let's go back just a second. We remember the outrage, right? This is 2 days after the midterm elections when Mitch McConnell, now we know, is going to be the new head of the Senate, and John Boehner is going to continue the head of the House. They threatened President Obama, don't you dare sign this executive order. If you do, watch out, baby. Here's Mitch McConnell.
It's like waving a red flag in front of a bull to say, if you guys don't do what I want, I'm going to do it on my own. And the president's done that on Obamacare. He's done it on immigration and threatening to do it again.
And then John Boehner, remember, play with fire.
I believe that if the president continues to act on his own, he is going to poison the well. When you play with matches, you take the risk of burning yourself. And he's going to burn himself if he continues to go down this path.
So there's all this hot talk, right? Well, guess what? The president basically said, yeah, so what? I don't care what you say. I'm going to do it anyway. And he did it. Again, now what? So they met yesterday. Well, the one thing they do agree on, they hate what the president did, and they don't hesitate to complain about it and talk about. I mean, the rhetoric is over the top. And here's a little montage that was used last night on MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. I was on the show with the Reverend Al last night. Here's a little montage that his people put together about all these Republicans in Congress yesterday, talking from the very same talking points.
He wants to circumvent the rule of law.
Presidential tantrum to be able to carry out your lawless, unconstitutional act.
The president's unilateral actions to bypass Congress, undermine the Constitution, and threaten our democracy.
By acting lawlessly and assuming legislative power, the Obama administration is driving full speed ahead to a constitutional crisis.
This amounts to a declaration of war against American workers.
Again, they're all saying the same thing. It's against the Constitution. It's lawless. It's imperial presidency. And, of course, John Boehner can't resist piling on as well.
This is a serious breach of our Constitution. It's a serious threat to our system of government. And frankly, we have limited options and limited abilities to deal with it directly.
Broken record among the Republicans. So they talk, right? But what are they actually going to do? This is where it gets funny because, so people say, well, let's just shut down the government. That's one option. John Boehner says, no. Mitch McConnell says, no, you can't do that. That's really going to make us look bad. All right, well, then the next thing I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to defund it. That's what. We'll cut off all the funding for President Obama's executive order. Well, guess what? That agency that oversees deportation is fully paid, does not come out of the government budget, federal budget. It's fully paid by fees that are collected for the Citizenship and Immigration Services. So Congress doesn't have any control over those. Well, that's not going to work. So now they're really frustrated. Now, their two latest ideas, get these. The Republicans say, okay, we'll keep the government going till next September, but that's on the one hand. So here's what they're talking about. They're going to bifurcate. They'll keep the government going till September 2015, but they're still going to get even with President Obama on that executive order. And here's the two things that they're talking about. Number one, they're talking about now, okay, get this, going to censure the president. Yeah, they're going to censure the president. Here's Congressman Paul Raul Labrador yesterday. He told CBS News, quote, I think we should censure the President of the United States. I think it's unfortunate that he did this. I think we need to lay out clearly why this is unlawful. Crazy Steve King from Iowa has jumped on board. So have a dozen or so more Republican legislators calling to censure the president. Wait, they can't censure the president. There's no provision in the Constitution to censure the president. They can censure their own members for ethical violations. But the Constitution says the president does something really, really wrong, you impeach him. Or her someday, right? There's no provision at all for the legislative branch to censure the executive branch. And by the way, what would they censure the president for? Doing his job? Right? They didn't do their job. They didn't pass a bill. So he says, okay. And he said, you pass a bill, no executive order. They don't act. He signs the executive order. He has still signed hundreds of executive orders less than George Bush did. So there's no sense to this at all. So if that's not enough, Breitbart now has started something. They came out yesterday. We talked about this one with Reverend Al last night. They're suggesting, and some members of Congress have already said this is a good idea. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll get even. We'll cut off the funding for Air Force One. We will shut down Air Force One and funding for all the White House staff. So that's what they're talking about. I mean, these guys are absolutely Looney Tunes, right? And, bottom line is they're going to huff and they're puff and puff. They're going to do absolutely nothing because there is nothing they can do about it. 866-55-PRESS. Censure the President of the United States? Do you think, I mean, does this make any sense? Do you think they'll actually be so crazy as to do that? Censure the President of the United States or cut off funds for Air Force One? Let me tell you something. That ain't going to fly. Let's talk about it. 866-55-PRESS.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. The sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize. One of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
Two anti-government, self-described revolutionaries have shot up a pizza restaurant as well as a Walmart in Las Vegas.
The internationally syndicated political series, The David Pakman Show, provides progressive talk, analysis, and interviews with the nation's youngest radio and television host, David Pakman. Find out more and catch up on all the latest episodes by visiting our website at freespeech.org.
This is the Bill Press Show.
By the way, there is another meeting this morning at the Capitol Hill Club down at 1st and C Streets, just in back of the Capitol building, the House office buildings, where Steve King is getting together people who really want to censure the president. And guess who's attending? Ted Cruz.
Of course.
So they may still try to shut down the government. In terms of what Republicans are going to do, last night, Jimmy Fallon slow-mowed the news with Brian Williams on immigration.
2 weeks ago, President Obama signed an executive order that granted temporary legal status to 5 million undocumented workers and provided a path to citizenship for those that meet certain criteria, thus giving immigrants a new way to enter our country.
Oh, yeah. President Obama's taking a hard stance on immigration.
Yeah.
He wants to let everyone inside. You got to do it the right way. You can't go in through the back door.
Can't go in through the back door. It's all right.
No.
Said they're lining up to get inside the USA, just like it was a Kmart on Black Friday.
Slow jam in the news on immigration as Republicans still try to figure out, we don't like what the president did. You know the answer? There's only one answer. They don't like what he did. Why did they pass an immigration bill? That would solve the problem. Just do their job.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. The sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize, one of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
All right, 34 minutes after the hour now here on a Wednesday, December 3rd. We will see what comes out of this meeting today. Should be very, very interesting. Ted Cruz, remember, last year when John Boehner was saying, no, we can't shut down the government. Well, it's not a good idea. We're not going to do that. Ted Cruz came over to the House side, met with the Tea Party House Republicans, and convinced them to defy John Boehner and, in fact, to shut down the government, which ended up boomeranging on the Republicans. Now, once again, a year later, Here we've seen this movie before. Both Mitch McConnell and John Boehner are saying, no, we don't want to shut. Look, we're going to be the majority party in the House and the Senate come January. We don't want to start out looking like a bunch of thugs who don't know what they're doing by shutting down the government. This is not a good idea. They're right on that point, by the way. But there is a rambunctious, rebellious group of Tea Partiers who may not go along with that, probably won't go along with that. They are meeting this morning, led by Steve King, crazy congressman from Iowa, joined this morning by Ted Cruz at the Capitol Hill Club, and they're going to decide what they're actually going to do. They're talking everything from impeachment to censuring the president to cutting off funds for Air Force One, or, pardon me, to shutting down the government. And they've got time to put that together. You know, it's in the end, John, here's what's just final point on this, that could be the strangest maybe and most amusing end to this story at all, that John Boehner may have to call up Nancy Pelosi and say, I can't keep the government going with I don't have enough Republican votes. Do you think you can give me some Democratic votes here? Nancy Pelosi may be called upon to save the day. Okay, hey, on the again, your comments always welcome throughout the show on that at 866-55-PRESS. This story is going to be playing out over the next week or so we'll have more time to talk about it. I wanted to bring you up to date on the latest. 2014 is behind us already. People are talking 2016. The new Nation magazine, by the way, check it out. We will be talking to one of the authors of this article tomorrow morning here on the program. But the Nation is out today. I got mine early this morning, and the front cover is Hillary Not So Fast. Yes. And Huffington Post has an article again this morning saying that Hillary's environmental stance, where she's not known as the strongest environmentalist, she's still known as a supporter of Keystone Pipeline, that could derail her chances in 2016 among at least a lot of progressive Democrats. So on the Democratic side, more and more questions raised about this coronation, this rush to coronation of Hillary Clinton, which you've heard me say before, I'm worried about. I definitely think, as much as I love Hillary Clinton, I definitely think she needs a good, strong challenge from the left in the Democratic primary, either from Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren or somebody else to jump in there and make sure that our good progressive issues remain the center of debate among Democrats and get back to good blue-collar, working-class issues that Democrats always win on. On the Republican side, it is wild. All right, CNN is out with its latest poll of Republican frontrunners for 2016. And I'll tell you, I'd love to just, Peter, be able to say, it's a show of hands, okay, how many of you out there listening this morning, how many of you out there watching this morning, how many think number one among Republicans will be Chris Christie, right? Or how many do you think will be, it's Paul Ryan or Rand Paul, right?
Yeah, sure.
No, when you look at this poll, and this is CNN, national poll of Republicans, who do you want to see be the Republican nominee for president in 2016? How about Jeb Bush? Jeb Bush is actually in third place. Chris Christie is in fourth place. Mike Huckabee is in fifth place. But get this. George Bush only has 9%. Jeb Bush, 9%. Chris Christie, 8%. Huckabee, 7%. Rand Paul, 6%. These guys, basically don't even score. Number one is Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney with 20%. And Romney says he's not going to run.
He's made that pretty clear.
Yeah, right. And do they really want to bring back this loser for a third time, right? As Paul Ryan said, third time's a charm. Oh, really? I mean, charm and Romney don't kind of belong in the same sentence, I don't think, right? So if we discount the number one, the number two on this list, believe it or not, is Ben Carson, this wacky right-winger from Baltimore, who's known in the medical profession as a brilliant neurosurgeon. I mean, hands down, he's got.
Yeah, you can't take that away from him.
But also in terms of politically, and he's given up his medical career now to focus entirely on politics. And he is told, I think it was either on Meet the Press or one of the Sunday shows last Sunday. So it was he was on Meet last Sunday. He said he's a maybe for running for president in 2016. He's out there running.
He's running.
I mean, he's running. He is actually number two. So if you discount Mitt Romney, Ben Carson is the leading candidate for president among Republicans in 2016 today. I mean, this is crazy. You thought Herman Cain was nuts? Or Michelle Bachmann? I mean, just take a look at some of the things that Ben Carson has said. Ben Carson has said that Obamacare is actually worse than slavery. I think he said also that Obamacare is worse than 9/11, what happened on 9/11, because only 3,000 people were killed on 9/11.
Yeah.
And yet millions of people, right, are going to have all their rights taken away from them by Obamacare. He actually said, Obamacare, a lot like slavery, since it was all about control. And to prove his point, he quotes Lenin.
Sure, why not?
Yes. He said, Lenin warned us, quote, socialized medicine is a keystone to the establishment of a socialist state. This, again, is Ben Carson, who obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. Whatever Obamacare is, it is not socialized medicine. Obamacare is just the opposite. Obamacare forces Americans to buy health insurance from a private company. What doesn't he understand about that? That's why the insurance companies are so happy with it. They're making more money than they ever made before. And he's still out there saying it's worse than slavery, it's worse than the Holocaust, it's worse than 9/11 because it's socialized medicine. Anyhow, there you go. I mean, if Republicans have a shot in 2016, it doesn't look like they're taking it seriously if they really think that Ben Carson is their man. Yeah. But do you think he can... No, I don't want to go too far. All right, I'll just stop there. Sometimes even I have to exercise a little self-control. I don't want to become another Ben Carson. Go, Ben, go. Go, Ben, go. He's my candidate. David Jackson, standing by at the White House for USA Today, joins us next. Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. You know, the sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize, one of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go, 13 minutes now before the top of the hour. Peter, I got to tell you, I'm a little worried about our next guest. We had our first big holiday party last night of the season for the White House Correspondents Association. When I arrived, David Jackson was at the bar, and when I left 3 hours later, David Jackson was still at the bar. So
where else would I be? And you're right to worry. I mean, it was a great party. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah,
yeah, very much so.
I thought it was one of the best ones we've had so far. Hello,
David, I'm just glad you don't have to see Bill this morning with his bloodshot eyes.
Great. Come on.
No, I snuck out of there by about 1 this morning, so I was
fresh and ready.
fresh and ready to go.
Man, 'tis the season, I tell you. Every night.
Oh, I know. No, the parties just start now, and they just keep rolling on. So, are we going to see any government shutdown, David?
I don't think so, Bill. I mean, there's not a lot of talk about it. Everyone seems to be on the same page in terms of passing something before December 11th, even if it's a 1-month extension. So, I'm pretty sanguine about it. I just don't think we'll go there. I mean, we'll find out soon enough, but Mitch McConnell's coming over to the White House today to meet with President Obama. I think that's another part of the process.
I didn't know that.
I suspect we'll see something done before the deadline.
And clearly, neither Boehner nor George Mitchell want this.
No.
What am I saying?
That would
Mitch McConnell.
That would not be a good way for the new Congress to roll in.
Right. And just talking to some of the White House staff yesterday about the president's trip to Hawaii, they expect this one to be pretty quiet. I mean,
that's certainly the plan. My understanding he's going to leave December the 19th, Friday, and stay through the first weekend of the year. So it's and everyone's pretty confident about that, and that includes some. You hear a lot of Tea Party members talking about the government shutdown, and even some of the some people in our business who want retaliation against Obama for the immigration orders. They don't really talk in terms of a shutdown. They just talk about doing something, but they really don't think it's going to result in that.
They've moved on. Yesterday, I noticed we talked about this on MSNBC last night. They've moved on from shutdown to censuring the president.
Right.
And of course, there's no constitutional provision for the legislative branch to censure the executive branch. But I mean, they might.
It's been tried. I remember Andrew Jackson got censured.
Yeah. Right.
Back in I guess it was the 1820s or 1830s, and then the next Congress came in and erased the censure. So,
I think that's the only time it's been done. So who knows? Now we have at least a new. The president actually hasn't announced the nominee for defense secretary, has he? But it's been leaked. So what do we know about this guy?
Not a great role. No, Ashton Carter. He's considered a bit of a technocrat. back in the 90s, he worked at the Pentagon during the Clinton administration, especially was what to do about all the nuclear arms that were still around after the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he made his name back then. And during this administration, he's also worked at the Pentagon. He wound up as the deputy director, the number 2 guy to Panetta, and he specialized in a lot of budget issues and a lot of organizational issues that the Pentagon was going through at that time. So, I mean, he's considered more of a technocrat, but the White House says that may be what they need, given some of the friction that's been developing in recent years between the Pentagon and the White House.
You know, I wasn't here last week to ask you what happened to Chuck Hagel. What was the beef with him? I mean,
the president brought in since the election, the president's brought in a lot of top aides and all the cabinet members to basically say, "Hey, are you planning to stay the rest of the administration, and if you're not, maybe you should think about leaving now." And in the Hagel meeting, it was basically decided that he should leave now. Now, some people in the White House will say that the president wanted him gone. Some people in the Pentagon will say Hagel wanted to leave. I think there was very much a meeting of the minds when they had their meeting that things weren't working out and it was time for new leadership.
They feel that he wasn't strong enough, maybe, or
strong enough. He just, they felt like he was ill prepared for a lot of the meetings. Supposedly, there were a lot of complaints from foreign leaders and foreign military personnel that they didn't feel like the defense secretary really understood their issues. Of course, this is the White House's comments.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't feel like Hagel was strong enough, and of course, over at the Pentagon, Hagel felt like the White House was micromanaging his department way too much.
Yeah. Now, David, the briefings the last couple of days, a lot of talk about Ferguson. Of course, the president had this round of meetings on Monday, right?
Right.
So what we were hearing from Josh the other day is, to me, it was so deja vu. We need a national conversation on race, right?
Right.
I mean, we heard that after Henry Louis Gates incident up in Cambridge. We heard it after Trayvon Martin, and now we hear it after Michael Brown. Why do we think it's going to be any different this time?
Well, I'm not really sure they think it's going to be much different. I think they're just hoping to elevate the issue and try to get some positive change. All along the Justice Department has this program to try to improve relationships between the police and the communities they serve. It's really nothing new. That's been going on for a while. So they're hoping to give some elevation to that program, and basically it's hope that something like this doesn't happen again. But I think that when you get right down to it, there's precious little they can do. I mean, they haven't even stopped the supplying the military equipment to police. They haven't really stopped that. They're just looking for tighter controls over that. So.
Right, and I remember right after the Michael Brown incident, there was talk about withdrawing some of that equipment. That the equipment itself helped to fan the flames,
right.
But that talk is gone right now, as you said the other day. In fact, Josh said something like it can actually be helpful in some cases.
Exactly. Yes. Well, they had a study of it. The idea is that now the local police departments that want this military equipment have to make specific requests for specific equipment and justify why they think they need it. And there also needs to be civilian approval of this request as well. But the fact of the matter is, as the administration's own study showed, is a lot of police departments can justify this equipment, and they have found it helpful. So it's probably not going to stop.
And Obama himself has been rather low-key in his response. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think they feel like he feels like he doesn't want to make things worse than they are. I think he's trying to, when you're trying to calm people down, the best way to do that sometimes is to stay calm yourself.
Yeah, there has been some criticism, particularly some members like the Black Caucus on
right. But Bill, this task force that the president did create this week is going to report back to him in 90 days, and so I think when that report comes back, you'll hear more talk about this issue. And I do think the president does want to somehow visit Ferguson and talk to the people there. It's a tricky trip for a lot of reasons, and not linked to which is who do you meet with and why do you meet with them. But that's something that I think is in the back of their minds, and it wouldn't shock me if that happened. Just
deciding who would be standing alongside of him in Ferguson.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Obviously, he wants to talk to the Brown family, but I think he also would need to talk to the police that were there. Of course, there's security concerns. It would be a tricky trip, but it wouldn't shock me if it happened.
Okay. All right, David, good to talk to you. Thanks for getting up early, particularly after partying so hard last night.
Yeah, I'll take a nap later today, I think.
All right. See you at the briefing at 1 o'clock.
Thank you,
David Jackson from USA Today, usatoday.com.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
You know, sometimes when I'm walking down the street, I'm not necessarily looking out and seeing all these water wasting lawns and people that aren't as connected to their neighbors and their lives as they could be. I'm walking down the street looking, going, edible oases, rainwater, fed landscape, and just looking at the possibility of these sort of landscapes up and down the streets of neighborhoods and communities all across this world. Small actions do ripple and they add up and they have a cumulative impact. And so when you're building upon your small mindful actions, you know, you have the confidence and the ability to take on something a little bit greater. So that would be nice. This, in the context of where we're at as a planet with climate change and these really big issues and people that are more disconnected and less skilled than ever, it becomes even more amazing and powerful how much of a solution this is to design these ecological gardens and to come together with shared vision and shared voice. There's never been a time where your choices have mattered more. Doing something as simple as us transforming a landscape creates a model that anybody could look at far and wide, and you're sharing food and connecting and building skills together in your own neighborhood. It's a richer way to live in normal times, but in the new normal of climate change and erratic weather and economic upheaval, it becomes essential. Whether it's me, you, Gandhi, Che, MLK, Willy Wonka, whoever, past, present, or future, the power of our daily actions is all that we have. You know, and like our community said, give me a place to stand and a lever long enough and I'll move the world. And that's what those simple actions do. They move the world every day.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Okay, we are going into outer space in the next hour with Chris Carberry from Explore Mars. Some of you say we're into outer space every day. To a certain extent, we are. And then in the third hour, Clinton Yates will be here as a friend of Bill, Clinton Yates, columnist for the Washington Post. We'll also talk to Jeremy Herb from Politico about this new Ashton Carter, the new nominee for Defense Secretary, and about the latest with ISIS. Lots more coming up. Stay with us this Wednesday morning.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
President Obama, are you fracking kidding me?
Reopen the EPA studies.
In Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania.
Fracking pollutes our oceans.
Fracking poisons our water.
Fracking makes climate change worse.
Fracking relies on toxic chemicals that cause cancer.
Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now.
Go on. Ban it.
Ban fracking now. Please.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. You know, the sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize. One of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I probably would make a time machine. I would make medicine for the sick. I'd probably invent something new.
我会赢到5个总冠军戒指。
If I could have an extra 5 years to live. You said 5, right? 5 years. It's a long time.
I would try to fix everything I did bad.
I would bring my uncle back because I miss him very much. I would get more hamsters. I would probably want to go looking for dark matter. I think I'd go looking for aliens. If I could live an extra 5 years. I was thinking about making like a helicopter, like a wooden helicopter, but I don't have any wood. I want to go check out the moon sometime. I'd probably teach my sister not to hate tuna.
I would try and invent a machine that lets you run at light speed.
If I had 5 more extra years to live.
I would be the boss of all the chipmunks.
Eu cantaria na frente de 1 milhão de pessoas. I don't really know. I think I'd do anything.
Why are you asking me that?
TV and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Well, they've decided they can't impeach President Obama, so now House Republicans are talking about trying to censure him. Why did they just do their job? Hey, hello, everybody. What do you say? Hello, 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 indeed, and welcome, welcome, welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Bill Press Show. You're looking for, you want to know what's going on today? You're in the right place. We'll tell you what's happening in our nation's capital. That's where you find us in our studio on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., just down the street from the United States Capitol building, which has a beautiful set of scaffolding on it right now, actually. I like it. I mean, yeah, I'd rather see the dome, but the scaffolding is very artistically arranged, I think, and lit up at night. It's pretty impressive.
There are ways to do that to make it look really crappy, and they didn't do that. They did a very good job.
Right. Usually the scaffolding just goes up, covers the front of whatever they're working on, right? Yeah. And you just have to kind of bear with it. But this is made to look very, very, very innovative and creative and stylish. So we're just down the street from that great building, and we are booming out to you everywhere in this great land of ours, on the radio, on your local progressive talk radio station, and on television on Free Speech TV. Good to be with you, whether you're listening or watching. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget, you really want to be part of the program, give us a call at 866-55-PRESS. We want to know from you what all of these issues of the day mean to you, what direction you think we should be going in. You can also send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show and on Facebook at facebook.com/BillPressShow. With the team here, one member missing, Elisa Murphy, off for a few days. Peter Ogburn.
Hello, Bill.
At least 2 or 3 hats, or wearing at least 2 or 3 hats today.
I'm here.
Yeah. Thank you. Alicia Cruz. She's there. She's the one you talk to when you call at 866-55-PRESS, and Cyprian Bowling is the one that keeps us looking good, our videographer on Free Speech TV and on our worldwide video stream, TawkrTV. And, don't have to tell you, if you were one of the millions and millions and millions of Americans on the road over Thanksgiving weekend, you know it didn't cost you as much money to get to Grandma's house this holiday because gas prices are way down. I mean... It's so funny. If gas prices were like going up, it would be leading the news.
Yep.
Pictures, video of the people waiting in line and the big signs with $4 or $4.20 or $4.50 or kind of whatever. But now that it's down, it's below $3, I think.
It's below $3 in a lot of places.
Yeah,
in fact, they're saying it's going to get below $2 in some states.
Down. Rebecca Jarvis from ABC News last night did a little piece on how much money this is actually saving us consumers.
Americans now saving nearly $250 million a day on cheaper gas. That's $1,100 a year for the typical family. Savings that can go towards everything from food to travel to holiday gifts.
$1,100 a year for the average family? I mean, that's like a big tax refund, right?
We've talked about these types of stories, why gas goes up again. I still don't understand how it gets so low. I know that the oil prices go down, but why?
It's pegged to the price of oil per barrel, which is all controlled by OPEC and oil producing countries. And But it's
$1,100 a year.
And the other thing is, again, media always talks about when the gas prices go up, never when it goes down. It's just like with the market; they always talk about when the market falls, never when the market soars to record highs, which it's been hitting almost every day for the last year or so. And they always blame the president when gas prices go up. Nobody ever gives him credit when gas prices go down.
That's right.
And to tell the truth, he doesn't deserve the blame or the credit for oil, for the price of gas, because it's all pegged to the price of oil, which we don't control at all. But anyhow, it's good news, so enjoy it. Fill up, top up while you can. Chris Carberry's got big news for outer space and NASA getting serious about a mission to Mars. Chris Carberry from Explore Mars will tell us all about it this hour. Clinton Yates will be here as a friend of Bill in the next hour. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories making news. Bill, when you go to a vending machine or you're at a restaurant and you get a carbonated beverage, what do you call that? What do you refer to? A soda. A soda. All right. I always call it a soda. Deadspin took a look at what people call them, because, region by region, they call them different things. Overwhelmingly, the number one choice is soda. Number 2, soda pop. Number 3 is pop. And number 4 is Coke. Which is also something that I did when I was growing up. Every soft drink was just Coke.
Yeah.
And then what kind? Sprite. So most people call it a soda, not seltzer, not pop, anything like that.
The only other variation would be fountain drink or fountain Coke.
Fountain Coke. Yeah. There you go. You've heard the statistic that's been thrown around for a long, long time. Half of all marriages end in divorce, right? Half of all marriages end in divorce.
That used to be. It's not the case anymore.
It's not the case anymore. The New York Times actually had a story out yesterday that talks about some of the actual numbers. So the next time that you hear someone say half of all marriages end in divorce, you now have some data to put back in their face. About 70% of marriages that began in the 1990s actually stayed together. They're still together. So 70% is a lot better than 50%. And they're saying that
people are getting married later.
They're getting married later.
Making better decisions.
Exactly. That's what they chalk it up to. They say that the age of that people are getting married is now reaching into the 30s, not so much as young as it used to be. And they say that couples that were married in the 2000s, you can expect to see an even better percentage rate when we get about 15 more years out or so. So they're sticking together. It's not so true anymore when you hear somebody say that.
But of course, that's before they allowed a same-sex marriage, which we know allowing same-sex marriage is going to just make the divorce rate explode, right? It's going to destroy the institution of marriage.
Which leads me to my next story about Major League Baseball umpire Dale Scott. He was profiled in Referee Magazine, a subscription-only publication, which only hits about 45,000 people. It's aimed particularly to referees and officials for sports on all levels. And they had a little profile of him because he's been a Major League Baseball umpire for 29 years. And 28 of those years, he has been with his partner, and they just recently got married. He is a gay man. He is the first gay umpire to come out of the closet. He did it in a very quiet way. He just had a picture of himself in this profile that said, here's a picture of Dale Scott and his husband. So congratulations, Dale Scott. He said that a lot of his, when asked about it after the interview, said a lot of his fellow umpires knew about it. It's never been an issue, and they kept it quiet because he didn't want it to be a story. So,
a gay umpire?
A gay umpire.
Oh my God. Next thing you know, there'll be a gay congressman.
I know. Yes, that's right.
Yes, sir, indeed. Thank you, Peter. Well, the apology tour continues for Ray Rice. That's where we start here, the top of our second hour together today. I have to tell you, in terms of apology tours, I think this one is one of the best put together that I have ever seen. And I say that as somebody who has no time for Ray Rice, thinks he's a disgusting human being, and what he did was totally disgusting. But in the wake of, he has handled this, I think, right by, this is a textbook case of how to handle bad news and how to handle a personal scandal. First of all, he appealed the decision that Roger Goodell's second punishment, which Ray Rice said this is double jeopardy. He gave me, I told him what happened, and he suspended me for 2 games the first time around. That was my punishment. And then when the video came out and Roger Goodell knew that Goodell, looked bad by only giving him a 2-game suspension, then he suspended him indefinitely. Ray Rice said that was double jeopardy. You can't do that in a courtroom. You can't do that with the NFL. That violates the rules. So he appealed it. He won his appeal. And since then, he's been out there with his wife, telling their side of the story. She appeared 2 days ago, Monday, on the Today Show with Matt Lauer. Yesterday, it was Ray Rice's turn. He was asked by Matt Lauer, okay, when you guys had your little news conference after the video came out, you apologized to the team, your teammates, you apologized to the NFL, you apologized to God. You never apologized to Janae. Why not?
I'll be honest, we were nervous. I was nervous, and that was the first time we were available to speak. And I made a horrendous mistake not apologizing to my wife.
And then Matt Lauer says, okay, so she's really stuck with you. She's been on your side. She's given up a lot for you. What are you willing to give up for her, if anything?
The one thing I want people to understand is that she sacrificed her well-being for me. And now the role's a little bit reversed. I'll sacrifice my well-being for her. Because...
So if you never play football again?
If I never play football again, I'll be honest with you, I would adapt into life and I would sacrifice more so she can have a better future.
So if that's how it came down to, he said he'd be willing to accept never playing football again. The question for us today, I think, is should he be allowed to play football again? That's the question I ask. Should Ray Rice be allowed to get back on the field? No questions, not no questions asked, but no strings attached.
He's free to play right now.
He is. He is, according to the judge's ruling, there's nothing the NFL can do about it. He is free to play right now. And as we mentioned yesterday, there are 4 teams reportedly, including the Colts and the Saints.
And the Saints, yeah.
That have expressed some interest, at least, in talking to him. But given what he did, given how much notoriety it got for the NFL and for the Ravens, and for him, should he be allowed to uniform up and get out on the field again? What do you say? 866-55-PRESS, 866-55-77-377. I got to tell you, as disgusted I am by his behavior, and by Roger Goodell's behavior, I don't think there's anything stopping him. If he's got he's got to show that he's still up to the game. He's kept himself in shape, apparently. That's what's been reported. He shows he can still handle it. I don't think I think the judge made the right decision. I think Roger Goodell really badly screwed up. I'm more angry at Roger Goodell than I am at Ray Rice. And having gone through the process, he tested it. He appealed it. He won. He's free to play. Let him play.
You can hate this system all you want, and I hate the system that has set him up to return to football. But that is the system. It is the system. And if Roger Goodell had done the right thing originally and said, after Ray Rice told him what happened and said, you are suspended indefinitely, then this wouldn't even be an issue. It wouldn't even be an issue. Ray Rice would still be suspended. He could try and appeal it, but I don't think he'd have much grounds because the whole point here is the double jeopardy. But look, if he comes back and he plays, first of all, I think a team is going to really you're going to have to find a team.
They're going to have to think hard about this.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to have a plan.
The first time he runs out on the field, they can expect some reaction on the part of the crowd.
But I also would be interested in the fact that every time that Ray Rice touches a football in the NFL, everybody will know that he's there because of Roger Goodell and because the NFL didn't take it seriously enough to do the right thing the first time. And
I keep thinking about Michael Vick. I mean, how much time did Michael Vick? Not that but what he did was wrong too. What Ray Rice did was worse, I believe. But Michael Vick actually served time in prison.
He served time in prison, and he came back. He's still playing.
He's still playing, right? He's back, and he kept himself in shape. He was picked up again, And I think today, I don't know, because I don't really like, as you know, I don't like professional football. I don't watch the NFL games. But when he runs out on the field, he doesn't get booed today.
No.
Does he?
No.
Right?
No, he's been accepted back into the NFL. I mean, people will always make comments and always make references and jokes about it, but it's not the dominating thing that follows him around right now.
Will Ray Rice be accepted back in the NFL? Should he be allowed to play? 866-55-PRESS. I want to hear from you on this Wednesday of the edition of the Bill Press Show.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help, because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. The sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going, and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize. One of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press Show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
Two anti-government, self-described revolutionaries have shot up a pizza restaurant as well as a Walmart in Las Vegas.
The internationally syndicated political series, The David Pakman Show, provides progressive talk, analysis, and interviews with the nation's youngest radio and television host, David Pakman. Find out more and catch up on all the latest episodes by visiting our website at freespeech.org.
on your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
25 minutes after the hour, outer space, explore Mars. Chris Carberry in the next half hour right now. Ray Rice, he won his appeal. 4 teams are interested in signing him up. Should he be allowed to play again? Eugene is calling from Clarkston, Georgia. Hey, Eugene, thanks for joining us.
Oh, good morning, Bill. First of all, I appreciate your show. I want to say one thing about Ray Rice. Ray Rice is supposed to be a role model. That's number one. Number two, when he knocked his wife unconscious in that elevator, that was an assault. And the way he dragged her like an animal out of that elevator, I don't think he should be in the NFL. And, it's about the dollar bill. But I think man should be in jail defending himself.
It is an interesting question, and I forget now, but Peter, why were no criminal charges filed here?
They settled out of court.
They settled out of court.
They settled out.
Well,
because he's a first-time offender, and so they didn't. It was not a.
Yeah, but I think probably also his wife did not press charges.
Well, she didn't press charges, right? And so that there were some talk of criminal charges because it was in a public place, and then there was the video. But he's a first-time offender. They didn't, I think Eugene's right. It had a lot to do with the fact that he had the money to not go to jail.
Totally, yeah. No, Eugene, I think you're absolutely right. And again, I am not in any way defending police, Ray Rice's actions. I'm just, I'm looking at what the legal process is and what the NFL rules are. And according to those rules, he played the game he followed the rules and he won his case. And Roger Goodell is the one who really screwed up here. Steve, so if there's got to be a change, keeping Ray Rice off the field is not going to change things. Getting rid of Roger Goodell would be the way to change things. Steve is calling from out in Madison, Wisconsin on 92.1 The Mic. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Bill. I don't think he should be let back on the field.
Really? Yeah.
Yes. I think they're forgetting about Janae. I think she has an underlying battered woman syndrome. And people of a lot lower socioeconomic status go back to their husbands, and they have nothing to gain by it because they feel they're going to change and it won't happen again. But for her, having a financial interest also might cause her to have even more reason to just say, that's okay, he apologized, and that's it.
I keep going back, Steve, where Eugene's, our last caller, started with that he's supposed to be a role model. I mean, like it or not, we do consider professional athletes role models, right? Yes. And how does he fill that? How does he step into those shoes? He can't, right? Yeah.
You can't. And I just think there's not enough focus on Janae, that how this is affecting her, and this is the decision she's making now.
I think you're absolutely right. I'm not an expert in this area, but to see her out there defending him all the time, if that's the phrase, battered woman syndrome, boy, she certainly has got it. Okay, headline in the New York Times this morning about NASA taking a big step back toward Mars. What's that all about? We'll find out next.
Is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help, because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. The sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize. One of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
President Obama, are you fracking kidding me?
Reopen the EPA studies.
In Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania.
Fracking pollutes our oceans.
Fracking poisons our water.
Fracking makes climate change worse.
Fracking relies on toxic chemicals that cause cancer.
Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now.
Go on. Ban it.
Ban fracking now.
Please.
This is the Bill Press Show.
33 minutes after the hour, Wednesday, December 3rd, the Bill Press Show, live from Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, on your local progressive talk radio station nationwide and on Free Speech TV nationwide as well. Brought to you today by the American Federation of Teachers, the good men and women of Teachers of America under President Randy Weingarten, members of the AFT, making a difference in America's classrooms every day, you bet. And check out their more of their great work at their website, aft.org. This Thursday, coming up this Thursday, a big, important test by NASA of a vehicle that they hope will get us to Mars. The headline in the New York Times this morning is NASA sees capsule test as a step toward Mars. Chris Carberry is the executive director of a group called Explore Mars. Has been a guest in studio with us before, and it's good to have you back at this time, Chris, with all this big news breaking today. What do you think about this news?
Well, it's really exciting. You know, NASA's been working for this for many years. So on Thursday morning, they'll launch the Orion capsule, which NASA's deeming as the first step on the pathway to Mars. Mars has become humans to Mars in the 2030s has become the goal, the official policy of NASA. And so this is the first step. And we have a lot of different milestones over the upcoming years between these sorts of ones, as well as a great number of commercial goals as well, which I think will all help move us in that direction so we can finally get back into space.
How long will it take us to get there?
Get to Mars in general? You mean from
I'm sorry.
leaving to getting there?
Right. I mean, for example, that Philae lander that landed on the comet, that was like 10 years or something, wasn't it?
But it wasn't like a direct trip. That was a little bit different. We'll be sending humans, so obviously we have to go a little more rapidly. And so
you
generally,
won't be taking any detours. You'll be going straight.
It'll go straight there when we're actually going to Mars. So it'll take between 6 and 8 months, depending on how much energy.
Whoa! They'll be in that.
They'll be, in
that
space
spaceship, traveling
for that amount of time. Then they'll land. They'll stay more than a year on the surface, and then come back in another 6 to 8 months. So it's going to have a tremendous effect on the human body. But we've experienced this on the International Space Station. Crews have been up for 6 months and more. So we understand what the challenge is. But it didn't take them 6 months to get there. It didn't take them 6 months to get there, but they're still in microgravity. And so, this is what we have to figure out how to deal with as we're going there, making sure the crew keeps their bodies moving and exercise so they keep their body mass, their muscle mass, bone mass up, because it does. If you don't exercise, that amount of time in microgravity is going to start breaking down your systems, your bone mass, your musculature, and your heart as well, because it's all designed to have gravity. But we know how to counteract a lot of that, just by vigorous exercise along the way.
Now, this launch on Thursday is something that's going to go like all the way to Mars, or just?
No. It's basically, I believe, going about 3,600 miles up. It's really to test out the capsule, and it's not going to be carrying people right now. It's just going to be testing out systems, so we can eventually put humans, in the craft.
Yeah.
So it's one of the key things is, testing out the heat shield. It's impossible to test a heat shield really until you actually send it through the atmosphere. So that'll be one of the things. I believe the whole test from launch to landing is about 4.5 hours, I believe. Just do a couple orbits and then come back, but testing all these systems.
Where will they do it from?
It's from Cape Canaveral.
Oh, down from Cape
Florida,
Canaveral.
Yeah.
Now, have they? So, do you think in the 30s, right, is when we will ideally be ready to launch humans to Mars, right?
That's the plan.
Okay. Are there? I guess it's too early now, but do you think it'll be tough finding people to sign up for that mission?
Oh, no problem at all. People will line up. I mean, any number of astronauts you see now would love to go. But even, other examples, people around the world, when this group Mars One decided, to announce to try to do it privately, 200,000 people signed up for a one-way trip to Mars. They're not likely to go, but it really tells you something about the enthusiasm. So I know a lot of astronauts, and I know most of them, if they had an opportunity to be on that trip, first trip or even second or third or whatever trip, they would go.
Could we volunteer people for that mission?
I've heard that before.
How about Jim Inhofe? Newt Gingrich, we could
climate deniers, perfect.
Ted Cruz, we could come up with a good list of people we'd like to put in that capsule. Well, that is very, very exciting, and it's something you've been talking about for a long time. So you must feel that people are starting to come your way.
Well,
right?
Yeah. Since when I started doing this, advocating this back in the mid to late 90s, it was always when you went to Congress and said, we need a humans mission to Mars, there was always that giggle factor. They didn't take you seriously. But slowly it began to build momentum. And we realized this is the most logical goal. If we're going to send humans beyond low Earth orbit, where else would we go? And it's by far the most interesting scientific planet to go to. And if we're going to have people there for a while, it's the most likely place people can survive because there's an atmosphere, there is water there, so we can literally live off the land. You have to wear a spacesuit and be in an environment, but you can still utilize the resources for your water, your oxygen, and you can create methane fuel utilizing that water and the CO2 atmosphere. So there's a lot going for you on Mars.
Well, you know so much more about this than I do, but there are traces of water. There are signs that I've read that there used to be water there, but there's no open bodies of water on Mars today.
It's not open
bodies.
bodies.
You can't drill a well.
Oh,
right?
actually, you may be able to. There's actually a lot of water on Mars right now. There's a lot of water ice. They found a lot of water near the Martian Arctic region when they land the polar lander. Just an inch below the surface, there's water ice. And they have found there's water in the regolith, which the dirt that they could extract, but there's evidence that there's actually a lot of liquid water below the surface. They've been watching these outflows of water in these cliff sides for the past decade, and they know it's actually happening now seasonally. So there is evidence there may be subsurface water. The question is, how easily accessed would it be? How far down would you have to drill to actually access this water?
Now, we already have these it's Curiosity and Opportunity, right?
Well, yeah, it's Curiosity and Opportunity. Yeah, one was,
Are they still up there? And
they're still.
Are they still operating? Operating.
They are still operating. Curiosity's about to reach the place where it's been trying to get to for
that big hill or mountain, right?
Mount Sharp. And an Opportunity's been going and going. It was, that landed in 2004, so it's going on 11 years now, which is remarkable.
And sending data back. Right?
Sending data back. So.
So I want to ask you, though, we know we can get to the moon, and we've been to the moon and back. So why don't we do more on the moon? Isn't there, have a colony on the moon? Why not?
Well, there are benefits with the moon because it's close.
Yeah.
That is a definite benefit. However, and there are a lot of private entities who are interested in mining the moon, setting up colonies and whatever. And there is some international support. We may go to the moon on the way to Mars, but it's generally not accepted as, a required stop. There aren't technologies we absolutely need to test on the moon. And so if we're going to actually make the effort, spend the, kind of refocus our space program, most people now feel that Mars is the best destination. It's a lot harder. It's a lot further away, but we're going to learn a lot more about the solar system, the nature of life, perhaps, because there could have been past life on Mars. There could be current life. That would be microbial life, but still, even the discovery of microbial life, past or present, would be quite a dramatic discovery. First time in history confirming life on another planet. That would be big.
Yeah. I can see that. You're on your way to Mars, but you stop and change planes on the moon, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't quite work like that.
But, we're used to that now, right? Sometimes
yes.
We just flew to Rome 10 days ago. There are no non-stops from Washington, so we had to go to Munich on the way to Rome. So you'd go to the moon on the way to Mars.
And the price of gas is...
I could accept that.
Flight, yeah.
And the price of gas is so cheap now, you can go a little out of the way. You can afford it now.
Right. But not all the news, and we'll take a quick break here. When we come back, I got to get your take. Not all the news in space has been good lately. We've had two serious accidents, one at Wallops Island with the Orbital Sciences rocket, and then with Virgin Galactic out in California as well. So tell us what went wrong on that and what we've learned from those. 866-55-PRESS. If you have any questions, this is very, very exciting. This is, I think we all sort of felt let down when NASA shut down the shuttle program. And now we're back with a new program, Destination Mars. Chris Carberry is going to help us get there when we come back. 866-55-PRESS.
This.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help, because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. The sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers They actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize, one of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
This is the Bill Press Show.
13 minutes before the top of the hour, here is a friend of Bill for the next hour, Clinton Yates, columnist for the Washington Post, and a sometime guest host here on the Bill Press Show, most recently over the Thanksgiving holiday. Right now we're talking outer space, particularly Mars and the mission to Mars with Chris Carberry, who's executive director of Explore Mars. You can find out a lot more than more in-depth information about this whole possibility and project at the website exploremars.org. So, Chris, we mentioned just before the break, there was this accident down at Wallops Island where a rocket built by Orbital Sciences, right? Or
yes,
backed by them, right? Blew up.
It blew up, just after takeoff, and they are part of a program to bring supplies to the International Space Station.
Which should have set us back, right?
Perhaps a little bit. We have other companies. SpaceX is also sending supplies up to ISS, as well as international partners. So it wasn't as though this was the only option. And this is part of the benefit of having redundancy, having two companies doing it, so we're not just suddenly stuck without the ability to bring supplies up.
But does it show that this is a problem with having private companies do this and not NASA do it?
Well, we've always had commercial companies building the hardware. Everything, almost every piece of hardware has actually been built by industry, commercial players. It's just a different way we've structured the contract here. So I think this has been a setback, but I believe Orbital will come back and figure out the problem and fix it. But meanwhile, they've had successful launches there, and SpaceX has had remarkable success, and they have, I believe SpaceX has another launch in December. Frankly, overall, I believe this has been a very successful program. Even NASA's had failures.
But we still have to hitchhike with Russia if we want to get an astronaut into the space station, correct?
That is currently correct. However, we also have another program, Commercial Crew, which 2 companies have been selected to bring astronauts up also. One of those is SpaceX, the other one is Boeing. And so...
With American rockets?
Well, American rockets, brand new American rockets, and so... they should be able to do that, I believe, in 2 or 3 years. We should be able to bring our own astronauts up to the space station, so we're not completely dependent on another country to do it.
And in the wake of the Wallops Island accident was the Virgin Galactic, where the test pilot was tragically killed out in California. Will that come back, and are they determined is Virgin Galactic still going to keep going on that?
They are determined to go forward. I know the CEO of Virgin Galactic, George Whitesides, and sounds like they're just anxious to figure out what went wrong and fix it. It sounds like something went wrong with the feathering device. It was turned on prematurely, and that's when they're up at top altitude. They turn that on. It kind of... If you recall Spaceship One, back in 2004, the first private spaceship, this is based on that. It kind of does this maneuver to slow it down coming back into re-entry. For some reason, it got activated right after...
Pilot error, maybe? Or
I don't know. We'll see. The report will come out. It just somehow it got turned on, and that would not, right after the rocket fire, that would be a bad time for that feathering device to be activated. So... it may have been pilot error, maybe something caused it to go on. I don't know.
And the mission here was just to get up beyond gravity and then come back? I mean, it was not going to, or was it going to circle the Earth? Or?
Not circle, this is suborbit. So basically, basically a 15-minute flight from rocket fire on. People would get about 5 minutes of weightlessness to be able to spin around, bounce around the spaceship, see a remarkable view of the Earth,
right,
and be considered astronauts. Because you'd actually get to the very edge of space, and then you'd be qualified. You'd get your astronaut wings, and this would be mostly to start off with. Wealthy people who could pay $200,000 for the flight. But over time, they wanted to develop it, find other ways of utilizing it, use this structure to also launch microsatellites, perhaps. But I know I've heard that they are also interested in site-to-site travel, point-to-point travel on Earth. So if you can utilize this, for instance, if you could create a system that would get you from Boston to Tokyo in 45 minutes to an hour, that would be quite exciting.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Would you be weightless on the way there?
Could be weightless on the way there.
Really? Whoa. Yeah. Well, not in our lifetime. Yeah, but otherwise, it doesn't have any real mission, does it? I mean,
maybe at the start off,
almost like a joyride.
Oh, well, to start off with, but a lot of things start off that way. When you're starting a new technology, it is highly relevant. I mean, they're bringing science experiments also, so there are a lot of side things they're doing, trying to find ways to utilize this. But the best way to start is, by wealthy people who want to help pay for it. They can start really working out the technologies. And in many ways, it's kind of like early aviation, whereas normal people couldn't afford to fly. When you had early airlines, mostly wealthy people paying a lot of money, and eventually the price came down.
And I am sure that some people were saying, talk show hosts at that time were saying about the Wright brothers flight, what we're saying today maybe about Virgin Galactic. What's the point, right?
You can't trust those guys, though.
You can always take the horse and buggy. What's the point, right? And they were, so don't pay attention to us naysayers. No, I'm not a naysayer. I think it's very, very exciting. All of these programs are very exciting. You are you're out there on the cutting edge, Chris, doing great work, and thank you so much for all that you're doing and for coming in today again.
Well, thanks for having me on again.
ExploreMars.org. Check it out, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, Chris. Hope you have a successful launch on Thursday.
All right, thanks.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Just this month, my bill was like $138.
Even at one phone call a week cost me $40 to $50 every month.
I am living on a fixed income of SSI, so this is really a great hardship. Families are being punished. When they incarcerate your children, they incarcerate the whole family.
In 2011, the Media Action Grassroots Network, Working Narratives, and Prison Legal News founded the Campaign for Prison Phone Justice, an effort to call on the FCC to address the cost of interstate phone calls. The campaign mobilized prisoners to send hundreds of letters. Advocates and families filled out postcards, met with elected officials, and signed petitions. Partnerships were formed across the political spectrum and with groups in the criminal justice, civil rights, and public interest community. The film distribution company Participant Media and director Ava DuVernay joined the fight through a social action campaign tied to the release of the feature film Middle of Nowhere. In an effort to push the FCC to act, the campaign hosted a historic rally outside of the Federal Communications Commission where for the first time, families of prisoners, elected officials, civil rights and faith leaders came together to call for an end to predatory phone rates.
We're all held captive when predatory phone companies gouge our families.
My son has been incarcerated now for over 10 years, and my husband estimates that in the time we spent over $25,000 on prison phone calls.
My hero's not yours, you probably arrested them. Your schools probably neglected them. They spawn thoughts, you probably infected them. Feed us what you feed us, you can lay us next to them. FBI call it major crimes. Babies making babies cry.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right. In the next hour, Clinton Yates will be here as a friend of Bill for the entire hour, columnist for the Washington Post, of course. And we'll be joined by a defense reporter for Politico, Jeremy Herb, to talk about the new defense secretary. At least President Obama is expected to appoint Ashton Carter. And then also talking about the latest on ISIS. President Obama, a busy day today. After he gets a daily briefing at 10 o'clock, he goes over to meet with members of the Business Roundtable. He'll be talking to them and also taking questions from them about the economy. He and the vice president will have lunch. Then the president has a very important meeting with Senator Mitch McConnell, the incoming new president of the United States Senate. President then will be delivering remarks at a White House Tribal Nations conference at the Capitol Hilton late this afternoon. Back at the White House, he'll be meeting with combatant commanders and military leadership in the cabinet room. And then he and the First Lady will be hosting a dinner for the commanders and the military leadership at the White House tonight, joined by Vice President Biden and Dr. Jill Biden. Busy day at the White House. We have our briefing today at 1 o'clock. Clinton Yates joins us next.
The Bill Press Show.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Tune in to Gay USA with hosts Ann Northrup and Andy Hum for in-depth coverage of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender news. Watch Gay USA every week, only on Free Speech TV.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. You know, the sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize. One of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
When I started learning about nutrition, about which, by the way, much less is known than you might think, I learned that what mattered most about one's health was not necessarily the nutrients, good or bad, that you were consuming or staying away from, or even the calorie counts. But what predicted a healthy diet more than anything else is the fact that it was being cooked by a human being and not a corporation. Corporations cook very differently than people do. They use vast amounts of salt, fat, and sugar, much more than you would ever use in your own cooking. And the reason they do that is those are three incredibly attractive and incredibly cheap ingredients. And when they're layered properly, as in a chip or pastries and forms of junk food, they're incredibly addictive. They really press our buttons. They activate our dopamine network, our cravings. And in fact, people in the industry, they don't talk about addiction in the food industry, even though they traffic in addiction. They talk about craveability. It's the same thing. And snackability is another term they use. It's a lovely word. And then the last point about corporate cooking that's important to understand is they cook different stuff than you do at home. What they're good at, in general, they don't cook that well, but things like chips, they cook incredibly well. And here's a classic food that if you make it yourself, if you've ever made French fries, you have to wash the potatoes, you have to peel the potatoes, you have to slice the potatoes, you have to fry them in a lot of oil, you have to spatter your entire stovetop, you have to clean up, and then you have this pot of oil you have to get rid of. I mean, it's really difficult, and it's a pain. They're wonderful, but it's a pain. And if you make them yourself, you'll only eat them every 6 weeks, 2 months, because it's too much work. But when you let corporations cook for you, it's so simple and so inexpensive, and they're really good, that you will have them twice a day, as many people in America do. So you see the kinds of foods you end up with are these labor-intensive foods and desserts. These special occasion foods become everyday foods when we let industry cook for us. Eat anything you want, just cook it yourself.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Well, House Republicans have decided it looks like they can't impeach President Obama, so instead they're now talking about censuring him for doing his job. What do you say, everybody? Good to see you. Hello, hello. It is Wednesday, December 3rd. Welcome to the Bill Press Show. We are live on your local progressive talk radio station. We are live on our video stream at TawkrTV. We're coming to you just a little delayed on Free Speech TV, but we're here with you across the board from our studio on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., just down the street from the United States Capitol building, where Republicans are still scratching their heads and trying to figure out, even though we warned him not to, President Obama signed that executive order on immigration reform. So now what are we going to do about it? They can't figure it out. They met yesterday. Some of them are meeting again today. They might still shut down the government, or again, a lot of them now talking about this alternative of censuring the president as if the Constitution would enable them to do that. We got so much to talk about today. That's why it's good to have you with us here on this Wednesday, December 3rd, whether you're listening on your local progressive talk radio station or watching on Free Speech TV or on TawkrTV. Our team is almost entirely here today. Elisa Murphy's got a couple of days off, so it's Peter Ogburn running the board and otherwise keeping things on track. Hello, Peter.
Hey, hey, hey.
Alicia Cruz is there to take your calls. Remember, you are very much part of the show. We want to hear from you at 866-55-PRESS, whatever we're talking about, what it means to you. And Cyprian Bolding, the aforementioned, is our videographer, got us looking good on Free Speech TV and on TawkrTV. Peter, you did a story a couple of weeks ago about Home Depot announced that they were going to now have robots in some of their stores.
Right. Yeah.
In the sort of garden section of the store. And so then you walk in. I mean, I hate this idea because so many places now, when you phone, you never talk to a real person. You no matter what you say or do or how many buttons you push, you'll never get a real person. There are no real people working for these companies. It's all automated voices. It's amazing what they can do, but it's not the same as talking to someone for real. Well, Home Depot is going to have robots in some of their stores that you will interact with this robot rather than a real live salesperson. Yesterday, it's just, I think, in one or two stores where they were starting so far.
Yeah, just one in California.
And this robot, the name of it is Oshbot, and they put it in operation yesterday. So you walk into Home Depot and you walk to the garden supply place, and here's what you're met by.
I'm Oshbot. I can help you find things in the store. What are you looking for today?
No way.
I don't think so.
Turn around and walk out.
I don't think so.
What if you punch the robot?
I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I'm typically anti-human interaction when I go to the store. I just like to go and do my thing.
Oh, right. Yeah, no.
But this is not.
People can also be a pain in the butt.
Exactly.
Right? But they also can be helpful.
Yes. This ain't much better.
Yeah, no.
If I need help, I'll just go to an associate.
But you know what they also sell at Home Depot are chainsaws.
And sledgehammers.
Yeah, right. I'll be right back. Yes, I'll be right back. Yeah.
How can I help you? Okay. So there it goes.
How can I help you? All right. Yes. Hey, we got a lot coming up here. Jeremy Herb is going to be joining us from Politico, defense reporter, at the half. And I know you're looking for Clinton Yates. Don't ask me what happened to Clinton Yates. You know, I think
we're looking for him.
I think, he was so happy to fill in as a guest host last week that he probably said, hell no, I'm not coming back as a guest anymore.
It's a power play.
It could be a power play. Hope, or maybe he's lost on the Metro. If he shows up, we'll let him crawl in here and he can explain what happened. But we'll continue and carry on. And yes, they're actually talking about House Republicans, a vote to censure President Obama. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories making news. Depression is a treatable mental illness, and scientists have taken a look to find out how best to combat depression. And at the Depression Center at Boston's Brigham and Women's Hospital, they have a new some research that they unveiled yesterday that says that exercise can actually go a long, long way in helping treat depression. So if you are diagnosed with depression, doctors will often now say you should be getting outside, you should be getting some exercise, elevate your heart rate, get the endorphins kicking in, and that actually will go a long way.
But the opposite is also true. I exercised yesterday and I was depressed when it was over.
That's a good point. Leave it to science. Two physicists have discovered and designed a brand new type of pasta. A shape of pasta. Now, it uses regular pasta dough, but it is called annalone, which is a large ring-shaped type pasta. And what the point is here is that it holds on to sauce much better because you put it all in a bowl, and because of the large rings, they all cling to each other. Therefore, the sauce gets trapped up in all of that, and you pick up more sauce with your pasta. But it's a brand new shape of pasta. You got penne, spaghetti, fettuccine, tagliatelle.
Yeah, but if you have that, like fusilli, for example, fusilli does the same thing. It picks up a lot of the sauce, and fusilli makes great macaroni and cheese because
I always use fusilli on mac and cheese. Yeah, absolutely.
So who needs the annalone?
There you go. Who needs better living through chemistry? And the new college football rankings are out, Bill, and you'll never believe who's number one.
I have no idea who's
Alabama. Roll Tide.
Anybody
number one in college football. They are followed by number 2, Oregon, and TCU leapfrogs over Florida State. They take the 3rd spot. Florida State now in the 4th position.
University of Delaware, is it up there?
Sorry, Bill. What are they, the Blue Hens?
Blue Hens?
The Blue Hens? I'm sorry, Blue Hens aren't on the list this time around. I'm sorry about it. Keep hope alive, though. As if you just scared the crap out of me. Man, I'm not sure if you got that on camera. I jumped a mile out of my seat. He just snuck up behind me.
Put the videographer back where he belongs. God, lock the door. Okay. Yes, indeed. 13 minutes after the hour, the big issue here in Washington, in Congress, among House, all the action is in the House and among House Republicans, because they're just trying to figure out what are they going to do about President Obama's executive order on immigration. They are considering such extreme measures. They're beyond themselves. They just can't figure it out. They're mad as a wet hen, but They don't know what they're going to do about it. So some are still talking about impeachment. Some are talking about shutting down the government. Some are talking about, yes, censure. And some are going so far as actually to say they're going to take all the funds away from Air Force One, so President Obama will have to swim to Hawaii for his Christmas vacation or fly commercial, I guess, one or the other. It really is comedic to watch the whole thing play out. If it weren't for the fact that this is the United States government we're talking about. Let's just flash back. We remember when the president said that if Congress doesn't act on immigration reform, I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm going to do something before the end of the year. Well, right after the midterm, but the president did wait until the midterm elections because some Democrats asked him to. Right after that, remember we heard these wild threats from Mitch McConnell and John Boehner saying, don't you dare. Here, just 2 days on, this is November 6th, Mitch McConnell.
It's like waving a red flag in front of a bull to say, if you guys don't do what I want, I'm going to do it on my own. And the president's done that on Obamacare. He's done it on immigration and threatening to do it again.
Yeah, like waving a red flag in front of the bull. Same day, John Boehner, playing with matches he is.
I believe that the president continues to act on his own. He is going to poison the well. When you play with matches, you take the risk of burning yourself. And he's going to burn himself if he continues to go down this path.
And so they were saying, don't you dare do this, don't you dare do this, or we're going to get even. We are going to take some drastic action. Well, guess what? As we know, the president, after the midterms, a week after later the same week of the midterms, the president said, okay, I don't care what you threaten. I know what my legal authority is. I am not going to wait any longer. This is too serious a problem facing the country. And if you act, if you do pass a bill, there won't be an executive order. But if you don't pass a bill, I'm not going to sit on my hands any longer. I'm going to take this action. And he did. Well, again, now they're trying to figure out what to do about it. So they met, the Republican leadership met with the entire Republican caucus yesterday, and they are trying to figure out their going forward. One thing they do agree on, they know how to kick and scream. They know how to complain, and if they're all reading from the same playbook, accusing the president of some illegal, extra-constitutional, unconstitutional, imperial activity. I was on MSNBC last night with Reverend Al Sharpton, and his people put together this little montage of these are Republicans in the House yesterday, right, mouthing off about how bad what the president did was in terms of the Constitution.
He wants to circumvent the rule of law.
Presidential tantrum to be able to carry out your lawless, unconstitutional act.
The president's unilateral actions to bypass Congress, undermine the Constitution, and threaten our democracy.
By acting lawlessly and assuming legislative power, the Obama administration is driving full speed ahead to a constitutional crisis.
This amounts to a declaration of war against American workers.
Yeah, you see, the Republican Party put out those talking points, are all reading from them, including John Boehner says, this is serious. We're not going to let this stand. John Boehner yesterday.
This is a serious breach of our Constitution. It's a serious threat to our system of government. And frankly, we have limited options and limited abilities to deal with it directly.
All right. So among the limited options, wait till you hear what they're thinking about. First of all, shut down the government. Well, Boehner and Mitch McConnell are against that because they say it'll make them look bad. There's another meeting today with the crazy Tea Party people and Ted Cruz, the same gang that shut down the government last time. They're meeting this morning to decide whether or not they're going to go forward and shut down the government, despite what John Boehner and Mitch McConnell are advising them to do. So that's still on the table as one option. Impeachment, by the way, nobody's really talking about it anymore, although that's always out there as a possibility. So shut down the government, number one. Number two, more and more Republican legislators are coming up and starting to talk about censuring the president. Actually, a vote in the House to censure the president for signing this executive order. Steve King from Iowa is one of the ones who's pushing for this. So is Raul Labrador, who told CBS yesterday, quote, "I think we should censure the President of the United States. I think it's unfortunate he did this, and we need to lay out clearly why this is unlawful." Censure the President? Really? You know, there's a couple of things wrong with that. Number one, what are they censuring him for, right? Doing his job? I mean, the president has a right to sign executive orders. Every president since George Washington has done this. We've talked about this before. Harry Truman desegregated the military by executive order. Abraham Lincoln lifted and got rid of habeas corpus by executive order. There's some pretty bold things have been done by executive order before. President Obama hasn't signed as many executive orders as other presidents, as not as many as George Bush, not as many as Bill Clinton, and he certainly is within the law to what he said about easing up on deportation of people who've been here for over 5 years. So what are they going to censure him for? Only doing his job, number one. Number two, there is no provision in the Constitution for the legislative branch, for the Congress, to censure the President of the United States. The Constitution says they can impeach him for a high crime or misdemeanor. Nothing in there about censuring the President. It happened only once before with Andrew Jackson back in the 1820s, when Congress did it anyway, and that was undone a couple of years later by the Congress when they realized they didn't have the authority to do that. So it's just all talk. It's just all talk. To show you how crazy they are, some people are not even content with censuring the president. One congressman yesterday, and Breitbart News is recommending that Congress cut off the funding for Air Force One. We'll fix Obama. We will ground him. Take the money away for Air Force One and for all of his White House staff and just leave him with no staff and no plane to fly. I mean, you know what? I hope they do that. It's just the American people will just see that as just the silliest thing of all. I mean, the Air Force One is not just Obama's plane. We're talking about the presidency of the United States, Republicans or Democrat, no matter who's the president. The American people want the president to be protected and to have some dignity with that office. 866-55-PRESS. But the thing that they really might do is censure the president. What do you think of that? 866-55-PRESS. Do you think they'll be so crazy as to go that far? Let's talk about it. 866-55-77377.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help, because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. You know, the sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going, and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month. $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize, one of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
President Obama, are you fracking kidding me?
Reopen the EPA studies in Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania.
Fracking pollutes our oceans.
Fracking poisons our water.
Fracking makes climate change worse.
Fracking relies on toxic chemicals that cause cancer.
Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now.
Go on. Ban it.
Ban fracking now. Please.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Okay, here we go. 26 minutes after the hour. Jeremy Herb from Politico joining us in the next half hour to talk about a maybe new Secretary of Defense and what's the latest with ISIS. The latest with House Republicans is they can't decide. They're all madder than hell about President Obama signing this executive order, but they can't on immigration. They can't decide what they're going to do about it. Are they going to shut down the government? Are they going to impeach him? Are they going to censure him? Or are they going to just cut off the funding for Air Force One? The one option that they just don't seem to want to consider is that the only way out of this is to pass a bill themselves. Here's Bill calling from Chicago on WCPT. Hello, Bill.
How you doing, Bill?
All right. What's going on? What do you think?
My question is it time for President Obama to go back to that famous inaugural night when they had that dinner and they wanted to shut down everything he does? I mean, is it time to get those guys for treason? And I think Mitch McConnell, I think Eric Cantor, all those guys that were there, is it time to get a committee to call those guys for the last 6 years to block absolutely everything he's done? And Newt Gingrich already went on CNN and basically said that that's what they did.
Well, is that right? Yeah. I'll tell you, I would hope the president would do that. I think he ought to call them out. That's exactly what they're trying to do. I mean, they are just not doing their job, Bill, right? They're not here to block everything. Look, let me put this so I know we're running out of time here. But if they don't like the president's plan, come up with their own plan. And then you debate between the two plans which is the better way to go. But that's not happening anymore. All they want to do is obstruct, block, and it's wrong. Jeremy Herb on Defense
This
next.
Is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help, because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. The sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going, and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize. One of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
Two anti-government, self-described revolutionaries have shot up a pizza restaurant as well as a Walmart in Las Vegas.
The internationally syndicated political series, The David Pakman Show, provides progressive talk, analysis, and interviews with the nation's youngest radio and television host, David Pakman. Find out more and catch up on all the latest episodes by visiting our website at freespeech.org.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go. It's 33 minutes after the hour on a Wednesday, December 3rd. We are coming to you live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., brought to you today by the International Association of Machinists. The good men and women of the Machinists Union under President Tom Buffenbarger sharpening America's sharpening America's edge on the global economy for sure. And you can find out more about their good work at their website, goiam.org. Big news on the Pentagon front over the break while I was gone, out of the country, in fact. Chuck Hagel moving out, and who is coming in? Yesterday, CNN announcing, although the president hasn't made it official yet, that Ashton Carter, former Deputy Secretary of the Pentagon of Defense, will be stepping up. At least that is the president's decision, according to CNN. Jeremy Herb covers these issues for Politico as defense reporter. A good friend of the program and is back in studio with us again this morning. Hi, Jeremy. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you had a good Thanksgiving break.
Indeed.
Out of town?
I was in California, where it was much sunnier than it is here in D.C.
Well, maybe when you were there, but since you've left...
It's true.
Yeah.
They need it, though. They need the rain.
No, yeah, we Californians need the rain. The thing of it is, it's feast or famine about the rain, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem now are mudslides.
Yeah.
Because it was so long and the ground got so parched that the rain is just running off rather than soaking in. And so we go from drought to problem with floods overnight. I'll figure it out, I guess. So tell us about Ashton Carter. Who is he?
So Ash Carter, best way to describe him might be a wonk. He is a physicist. He has Rhodes Scholar. He has a doctorate in theoretical physics from Oxford. And he kind of came up through that side of things.
Doesn't sound like a candidate for defense secretary.
It's a very interesting biography.
Chuck Hagel did. I mean, he was a veteran, right? He was in Vietnam. He was on the Armed Services Committee. He had all that background.
They came from very, very different backgrounds. He's not from a politician mold like Hagel was, like Panetta was. He came up through the ranks of the defense world. He was in the Clinton administration, and he kind of came up in the Pentagon under the Obama administration as the Pentagon's weapons buying chief. He was the one who was kind of working with weapons programs, and he did that before he became Deputy Defense Secretary under First Secretary Panetta, and then he stayed on for about a year with Hagel. He was a candidate when Hagel was picked, and he was passed over then.
Yeah.
So there is kind of this sense that they're settling on him now when you have Michelle Flournoy, Jay Johnson, Senator Jack Reed, all basically saying, I don't want this job. And Carter is, as John McCain put it yesterday, the last man standing.
The others said they didn't want the job just because it's only 2 years to go. And
well, they didn't come out and say that, but that's kind of the sense. This, and in addition to you look at the memoirs from former defense secretaries, Robert Gates, Panetta, and now Hagel resignation, this sense that the White House and the National Security Council are micromanaging the Pentagon. And it's not, you don't actually have the sort of power that you maybe should have and decision-making capability that you should have in that role.
Right. With Carter, is he well regarded in the Congress, and do you think he's confirmable?
Yeah, this is a non-controversial pick in a lot of ways. Republicans I talked to yesterday, they said they had a lot of respect for him. It's still going to be a tough confirmation process because it's not going to be so much about Ash Carter. It's going to be about the Obama administration's foreign policy, what they're doing against ISIS, particularly, whenever the hearings come next year, it's going to be Chairman John McCain at the Armed Services Committee leading the way. So I think, he's going to have a difficult time and get a lot of difficult questions. But in the end, I think a lot of Republicans like him. They've worked with him in the past, and they respect him.
So, first of all, President Obama has not nominated him yet.
That's right. He has not. And
so the possibility that the hearings will be before the end of the year, or that he could be, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not. I mean, Congress is looking to get out of town at the end of next week. They've got a full plate of things, and the administration hasn't finished vetting him, and the committees will want to vet him, and they have a long and detailed questionnaire they're going to need him to fill out. So that process wouldn't make it possible to do this.
Okay. Now, what happened to Chuck Hagel?
That's a great question. The Pentagon and the White House say that it was a mutual decision they came to where he was resigned.
But that's spin. We know that.
Of course, exactly. I mean, I think the Pentagon, he was brought into the Pentagon to draw down the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. The president liked him for his stance against the Iraq War when George Bush was president. And then things took a turn. They suddenly weren't talking about cutting the defense budget, drawing down. They were talking about a new war and new funding. And I think, there was a sense that in the White House, at least, that he wasn't the person that they wanted to lead that fight. He gave uneven performances in terms of press conferences, speeches, that kind of thing, and then there were some internal tensions between him, Susan Rice, and White House officials that I think just sort of led to this sort of push out the door, if you want to say it that way.
If I'm not mistaken, he was the only Republican in the president's cabinet. I mean, originally the Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood, but
right.
Ray had already left.
Right.
So
yeah, he was the replacement, and now for his last 2 years, the president's not going to have a Republican, unless, of course, some other cabinet change shuffles happen. But I don't know necessarily what you want to make of that. Most Republicans voted against his confirmation, which was a whole nother episode in his history as defense secretary. But yeah, now it's going to be an all Democratic cabinet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of it. I like Chuck Hagel. We interviewed him often on Crossfire, and I think he's a good man. And I think the fact that he was a veteran served him well as among the troops.
Yeah,
so if I understand, when he went out in the field, they really respected that he was the guy that had that experience. He loved to tell
his stories about as an enlisted man in Vietnam. And Ash Carter comes from a very obviously different background. He did not serve in the military, but at the same time, I think he is respected by military leaders. He made a point to go visit when he was deputy defense secretary. Go visit bases overseas.
He did. Yeah,
he did that. So I think he is well respected. He has because of his background, he has this kind of what's the word? He has the kind of personality as kind of the smartest guy in the room, or at least that's the reputation he has. And so I think that is going to be something he's going to have to work with, both within the Pentagon structure, but also in his dealings with the White House.
Now, you mentioned, again, we're talking with Jeremy Herb from Politico, Politico.com, defense reporter. You mentioned that Chuck Hagel's sort of responsibility was overseeing the drawing down of two wars. Iraq had effectively already ended, but certainly the war in Afghanistan, and yet now we are start into a new war. We are still in this new war. Why aren't we talking about ISIS anymore?
Sort of dropped off the radar, didn't it?
Boy, it has. Faster than Ebola.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's still there. And, we're still conducting airstrikes, not necessarily with the same pace and intensity that we did when we first started
every
striking.
Day?
Not every day now. There was a wave of them earlier in this past week, but it's more sporadic. And part of that is just there are fewer targets. You hit all the obvious targets, and then you have to wait to see what new targets may spring up. But it's still there. We're still ramping up number of troops we're going to put in Iraq. The defense authorization bill the agreement was reached on this last night. They're going to pass it in the House this week and the Senate next week. That'll give the Pentagon the authority to put another 1,500 troops in Iraq and start training Iraqi forces.
They were given that $5 billion the president requested?
Right. It was in the authorization bill.
So that deal has been made?
It has. It still has to pass, but it's no indications that it won't, though.
All right. So have we started training the ground forces, either the so-called moderate Syrian forces or the Iraqi military?
No, we have not. And it's the Syrian authority to train was also included in this bill, and it gives a 2-year extension. So they're going to now have 2 years to do it, whereas if you remember, the initial authority was only until this month. It expires next week. But it hasn't actually started yet, so it was sort of a moot point. But that's going to be included as well. So, it's still happening. Congress, I think, is going to take up next year the AUMF, the authority for the use of military force. And so we'll see. I think we will see more discussions on it, but I think you're right. It's dropped off the radar recently.
Okay, but you said sort of it's a moot point. It is in the sense that the funding now is available, so they can move forward. It's not going to be a controversy, but it's not a moot point in the sense that everybody said from the beginning, airstrikes alone are not going to win this battle against ISIS. We need the ground forces. Now, if they haven't even started training them yet, it'd be a wild stretch to say that it'll take 6 months. It'll probably take a year.
Oh yeah. It's a long haul. There's no doubt about it. And the Pentagon hasn't hidden that fact, although I don't think they necessarily said in September we're not even going to start this until 2015. But I think it's going to be difficult to get that ground force. Look at what happened to the Iraqi army that we trained and put in place in 2011.
Sure.
ISIS just tore right through them because they fled their posts.
And why do we think it's going to be any different this time? I think this thing is just fraught with political risk. Not just political risk, but military risk. The way it's put together. And then there's this whole question about what evidence do we have that the strikes that we've been at now for 4 months, maybe?
Sounds right.
What evidence do we have that they are working at all? Jeremy Herb here. He's got we have all the questions. He's got all the answers.
I don't know about that.
From Politico, Politico.com. You have some questions too, I'm sure. Now's the time to fire them in at 866-55-PRESS. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
What gets you into college? Good SAT scores? High GPA? Lots of extracurriculars?
Sure, but what you really need is money.
If you don't have the cash, you'll need a loan.
And we mean huge student loans because the cost of college has risen 1,000% in the last 30 years.
This means big money for the banks that collect fees and interest.
Now, millions of young people are starting their adult lives with an average of $29,000 of loans on their backs.
Altogether, we're talking $1.2 trillion in student debt.
And more people are finding it impossible to pay them back. Welcome to the student debt crisis.
The increasing demand for higher education and cuts to state funding gave colleges a huge incentive to keep inflating prices.
I graduated about a year ago, currently in $35,000 of debt.
I am in debt about like $25,000.
I owe $23,000.
I owe over $50,000 in student loans.
38.8 million Americans owe money on a student loan. And the biggest names in banking are making huge profits off the booming student loan industry. Sallie Mae, the largest provider of private student loans, made $949 million last year.
They only give you about 6 months to look for a job. You have to start paying back the loan. It's very pressuring, especially nowadays. It's very hard to find a job.
Over half of the students graduating in 2012 could not find a decent paying job.
They either had low-wage jobs or unpaid internships or were unemployed altogether.
So you can't make the payments. You start incurring late fees, which makes the loan even harder to pay off.
And it stays with you for years, even decades.
Right now, a third of the people who started repaying their loans are delinquent or in default.
That's 13.7 million people, more than the populations of Chicago, New York, and San Francisco combined.
Worse, it's not just the borrowers who are in trouble. Many loans require co-signers.
So if the student is unable to pay, that co-signer, a father, a mother, or a grandparent, is now on the hook.
Even a grandparent's Social Security benefits can be garnished to pay the loan.
We should have an answer to this. If you get really behind in your car payment or your credit cards, you can file for bankruptcy.
But Congress has made it nearly impossible to discharge student loans through bankruptcy.
Big institutions make big profits while students try to make ends meet under crushing debt.
Is this how we want our education system to work?
The whole point of going to college is to get the career you want, but lately that's been discouraged because no one can afford school. You get a job just to pay off your student loans.
We need higher education, not higher debt.
Sign up to end the student debt crisis at higherednotdebt.org.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is the Bill Press Show.
Well, all the attention lately seems to be here in Washington on whether or not they're going to fund the government, whether they're going to impeach the president, censure the president, shut down the government. All the focus on the domestic spending issues, and yet the war against ISIS continues. And a possible big change of leadership at the Pentagon. Jeremy Herb covers all these issues. He's a defense reporter for Politico, Politico.com, in studio with us. So what do we know about this air raids? What have they accomplished so far? We've spent, I don't know how many millions of dollars, right, with these air raids, both in Syria now, inside of Syria, originally just in Iraq, against ISIS targets. What's the score?
Well, the score is still to be determined, I think. These raids definitely have blunted ISIS's momentum. They were on the march in Syria, in Iraq, and taking territory, and we've stopped them. We've forced them to kind of go more underground, because if they're out in the open now, they know these airstrikes are coming. We've hit a lot of the obvious targets, and now we're looking for more targets, and they're still happening, but they're happening at a less frequent pace than they were initially. And now, as you said, this is where we need the ground force to come in and have that component, and it's there yet to a certain degree in Iraq, but it's not there at all in Syria.
So my impression is, just looking from this vantage point, 3,000, 5,000, whatever miles away, is that what we've accomplished is to go back kind of to the status quo, right? To keep them, not to defeat them, but to prevent them from making any new progress, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So it looks like it's going to be that way for another year.
I think it's safe to say. We could see more progress in Iraq, especially, if their military gets more online and ready to go. If they get some more cooperation with the Kurds, we could see some more advances there. But they have a lot of territory in Syria, and that territory is not something that we are able or willing to take unless there is going to be that large ground force, because you have the Assad regime still in Syria, which we are still opposed to, although to what degree it's less clear these days. But with that whole triangle kind of mess, there won't be too much progress in terms of pushing them more in Syria.
There was originally talk about a no-fly zone in part of Syria along the border there. Is that still under consideration?
There have been some reports that they were close to an agreement on this. This is something that Turkey, which is north of Syria, is pushing for. They want that no-fly zone to help give them some buffer, and to give the idea would be that it would give the moderate rebels that we want to train and equip to fight ISIS, and then presumably Assad, a safe haven. This was talked about back when it was just Assad versus the rebels too, as a place to help them fight Assad, and now it would be a place for them to fight fight ISIS. But so far, we haven't actually reached an agreement to do that, and I think there's resistance in the Obama administration and the Pentagon to doing that, because it would escalate the U.S. presence to carry out and maintain that no-fly zone.
But the no-fly zone would be directed against whom? ISIS doesn't have an air force, does it?
No, it doesn't. At least they haven't taken over.
Is anybody else going to be flying in there to help ISIS?
Well, it's also Assad, and this is where you get into this weird triangle where the rebels, a lot of the moderate rebels, as we call them, who we want to fight ISIS, are more concerned about fighting Assad than they are about fighting ISIS. And this is one of the pitfalls of this strategy of training and equipping the rebels to be our force in Syria, is you have them fighting Assad too. And while I think the administration certainly does not like Assad, does not want Assad in power. They don't want the effort to be against Assad because he's not posing the threat that ISIS is posing to the West. And so they've talked about an ISIS first strategy, but it's not yet clear the rebels are on board with that.
And finally, the New York Times this morning, the lead story on the front page is upper right-hand corner. Iraq government reaches accord with the Kurds, making a deal on oil and arms. This is something that people have been urging and hoping to see happen for a long time.
Yeah, it's a good sign with the new Iraqi government that they're reaching out. They're trying to make this deal in order to have a little more unity. The biggest knock against Maliki when he was in power was that there was this fracturing in Iraq that allowed Sunnis to support ISIS indirectly at least and let them rise the way they did. And so this is a sign that there could be some cooperation. We'll see how much it leads to military cooperation. Obviously, the Kurds and the Iraqis have a common enemy in ISIS, and so I think that's kind of now what we're going to look towards.
So it shows that this dream or vision of a unified Iraqi government, might happen. At least it's a positive sign.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. I think it's still a long way to go to see, this is a new government. They're still kind of trying to put everyone in place, but it's a step forward.
Yeah. Well, thanks for bringing us up to date, Jeremy. Nice to see you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Let us not forget about this war on ISIS. We've got to keep on top of it, and Jeremy Herb helps us do that. And I'll be back with a quick parting shot. Thanks again, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Hey, friends and neighbors, hope you're enjoying the program this morning. And now just a quick word out to tell you we need your help. Hey, it's as clear as that. If you like Free Speech TV, and we know you do, you wouldn't be watching this morning, thank you. Again, we need your help because without your help, we just can't continue to bring you that great programming that you enjoy every day on Free Speech TV, which is so strong, so independent, so fearless. We answer to nobody but you, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, Amy Goodman, myself, and all the rest. The sort of the independent journalism you won't find anywhere else on cable television in the United States of America. It is right here on Free Speech TV. But again, to keep it going, we depend on you. And that's what's unique about Free Speech TV. You probably heard that the Koch brothers and these right-wingers, they actually pay conservative talk show hosts like Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and others to put their guests on the air so they can spout their right-wing rhetoric. We don't get that kind of money. We don't want that kind of money. We don't have any government money either. We are totally independent. We don't answer to anybody but you, and that's the way we want it. But again, we need your help to keep it going and maybe to help you and prompt you to be as generous as you can. Think about this. If you can help us with just $5 a month, $5 a month, $60 to Free Speech TV, we'll send you out a great Bill Press mug. Step it up to $10 a month, $120 for Free Speech TV. We'll send you the mug and a pound bag of coffee to go with it. For $240 or $20 a month, get this, the mug and then a whole package, the Crowd Pleaser box with coffee, chocolate bars, hot cocoa, and tea all inside. For $30 a month, a great, great, great prize. One of these beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarves by my wife, of course, Carol Press, rayon chenille or bamboo, and you can get your pick, take your pick from all the different colors and designs Carol has to offer. That's for $360 or $30 a month. And if you can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV and just get yourself to Washington, Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and you can come in the program the next morning in our studio, meet the team, and actually sit in on the Bill Press show. So we'd love to see you. I really need your help and ask for your help. And please, as always, be as generous as you can. The way to do so, of course, is go to the phone. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 or go to our website at freespeech.org. But make your pledge today. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Look, we need your help. It's as simple as that. Do it today. And we thank you for being with us on Free Speech TV and enable us to keep it going every day.
The Parting Shot with Bill Press. This is the Bill Press Show.
Well, it's hard to believe, but every day congressional Republicans look sillier and sillier. I mean, they're so mad at President Obama for signing that executive order on immigration that they can't see straight. But the fact is, there is nothing they can do about it other than pass a comprehensive immigration reform bill, which, of course, they will never do. At first, they threatened to shut down the government again, but that backfired on them so badly last year they won't dare try it this time. So then they promised to cut off all funding for the president's plan, which they found out wouldn't work either because immigration services are paid for entirely from fees. They're not part of the federal budget. A few crazy ones still want to impeach the president. That ain't going to happen. So now, get this. They're seriously considering censuring President Obama. Other than the fact that they have no such power under the Constitution, what would they censure him for? Doing his job? What a bunch of worthless clowns, these Republicans in the House of Representatives. You know, why don't they just do their job and pass a bill? That's the way to fix it. Hey, folks, thanks for being with us today. That's my parting shot. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back here again tomorrow.
This
we'll be
is
looking
the
for you.
Bill Press Show.